On May 9, 2025, from nearly 2,000 kilometers away, Israeli fighter jets appeared unexpectedly in the skies above Doha, Qatar. In a precise and devastating strike, they destroyed a building said to be hosting senior Hamas leaders. The attack sent shockwaves through the region, not just because of its accuracy, but because of where it happened, inside the territory of one of America's closest Gulf allies. How did Israel pull this off? Why did it happen in Qatar, a nation known more for diplomacy than for war? Tonight, we decode the operation. The intelligence behind it, the possible flight paths, and the extraordinary political gamble that shook the Middle East. 1. Qatar, the mediator, caught in the crossfire. For years, Qatar has played the role of an intermediary, a bridge between rival powers and factions in the Middle East. Doha has hosted countless diplomatic meetings, peace negotiations, and quiet talks between Israel's adversaries and Western envoys. Among those who found sanctuary, there was Hamas. Its political office in Doha became a strategic hub, a place where its leaders could meet, plan, and coordinate with other Arab states and international actors, away from the constant pressure of Gaza. In early August 2025, Qatar and Egypt proposed a 60-day ceasefire, a chance to halt the fighting and give Hamas time to reorganize its ranks. Hamas quickly accepted. But instead of embracing the pause, Israel took the opposite route. It launched a new operation to tighten its grip on Gaza City, escalating the conflict just as diplomats were trying to calm it. Within weeks, reports surfaced that top Hamas leaders had gathered in Doha. For Israeli intelligence, that information was like blood in the water. Several of the organization's key figures, those responsible for funding, strategy, and coordination, were said to be in one place at one time. Such opportunities are rare, but Doha isn't a battlefield. It is the capital of a sovereign Gulf state, one with close ties to the United States, and a reputation for neutrality. Any military action there would risk a major diplomatic crisis. If Israel failed, it could find itself isolated. If it succeeded, it would send a chilling message: nowhere is off limits. 2. The intelligence web. To pull off a strike like this, precision was everything. One wrong coordinate could turn an elite operation into an international disaster. So how did Israeli intelligence pinpoint the target? Analysts believe the process unfolded through several layers of coordination. Human intelligence inside Doha. Informants, possibly local contacts, contractors, or embedded assets, reported on the movements and security patterns of Hamas delegates. Behavioral signals, security reinforcements, roadblocks, or irregular patrols in specific areas indicated the presence of high-value individuals. Pattern tracking. Surveillance teams monitored vehicle convoys, taking the same route repeatedly, often turning near a gas station or entering a gated compound. Satellite imaging. By comparing high-resolution satellite photos over consecutive days, analysts noticed infrastructure and vehicle changes, subtle but consistent. Cross-verification. When multiple independent intelligence sources aligned on time and location, confidence reached strike authorization threshold. After the strike, satellite images confirmed that only one building in a dense complex had been destroyed, a telltale sign of precision targeting. No neighboring structures were seriously damaged. That level of accuracy could only come from meticulous preparation, and a weapon designed to minimize collateral damage. 3. The challenge: distance and diplomacy. Doha lies roughly 2,000 kilometers from Israel. To reach it, any aircraft would have to cross multiple airspaces: Jordan, Saudi Arabia, possibly Egypt, each monitored by advanced radar networks. The mission had to meet 3 conditions: absolute secrecy, no radar detection, minimal civilian casualties to avoid diplomatic fallout, a quick exit before any response could be launched. That meant Israel's options were limited to a few bold, risky possibilities. 4. Hypothesis 1. The long-range ballistic strike. The simplest theory: launch a long-range air-to-surface missile or ballistic weapon from beyond enemy radar coverage. Israel possesses several candidates: the Blue Sparrow and Silver Sparrow missiles designed by Rafael. These are air-launched ballistic test vehicles capable of reaching 802,000 kilometers with hypersonic re-entry speeds. Advantages: can reach the target from Israeli airspace. No need to expose fighter jets to foreign radar. Drawbacks: ballistic warheads create wide impact zones, impossible to limit damage to a single building. They leave visible vapor trails and booster separations during flight. No visual evidence of such traces appeared after the Doha strike. Conclusion: the data doesn't match. Too much precision, too little evidence of a ballistic path. The theory, though technically possible, is inconsistent with the aftermath. 5. Hypothesis. 2. The long detour. The second possibility, a complex long-range air raid using multiple refueling stages and an indirect route. In this scenario, a formation of F-15I Ram fighters would depart from Israel, fly south over the Red Sea, then curve around through the Gulf of Aden. A journey exceeding 10,000 kilometers round trip. Refueling would occur several times in mid-air, possibly with support from Boeing 707 tankers or Allied aircraft. Advantages: avoids direct radar corridors across Jordan or Saudi Arabia. Enables precision strikes using GPS-guided bombs such as JDAM or the Rampage missile. Reduces risk to civilians by attacking from altitude with pinpoint accuracy. Disadvantages: requires perfect coordination for multiple refuels. Each refueling exposes the operation to detection. Long flight times, 8 to 10 hours, increase the chance of mission compromise. Fuel limits drastically reduce bomb payloads. Reports later suggested about 15 aircraft participated, far more than needed for a standard surgical strike. That aligns with this multi-stage hypothesis. But such a mission would be logistically nightmarish. It's possible, but unlikely, unless Israel had extraordinary mid-air support. 6. Hypothesis. 3. The silent corridor. The third and most compelling theory, a direct flight made possible through quiet cooperation or deliberate silence from the countries in between. The distance from Israeli bases to Doha is about 1,950 kilometers, within operational range for an F-15I, especially with one refueling leg. If Jordan and Saudi Arabia turned a blind eye or granted covert clearance, Israeli jets could have flown directly, struck, and returned without ever triggering alarms. Such conditional silence isn't unprecedented. Jordan and Israel have maintained discreet security coordination since their 1994 peace treaty. Saudi Arabia, while not formally recognizing Israel, has shared intelligence on common threats, particularly Iran. Both nations depend heavily on U.S. security backing, and the U.S., Israel's closest ally, might have quietly allowed the corridor to stay open. Under this scenario, the strike becomes clean, efficient, and politically deniable. It fits every data point. Short flight time, 2 hours. Limited number of aircraft. Precision strike. Absence of radar alerts from neighboring states. Conclusion: the silent corridor remains the most plausible explanation. 7. The pause. Before Part 2. So far, we've mapped out the intelligence chain and the 3 potential flight paths. Each one is bold, each one risky, and each reveals something about how far Israel is willing to go to hit its enemies. But beyond tactics lies strategy and consequence. In the second half, we'll examine what this operation means. Its geopolitical fallout, its damage to Qatar's image, and what it says about the future of Middle Eastern warfare.